You guys want to just get that out of the way and go ahead and do that one time, like the congratulations to each other real quick? You can scream. Do it real quick. Thank you, Dr. Castillo, for those kind words in that introduction. Thank you. Now, if I look nervous, it's because I am nervous. My friend told me to picture the audience naked, and I tried that, and it's making it worse. Thank you, Chancellor, for having me. Thank you to the Regents. Thank you to Dr. Cass, Mr. Dick Phillips. Thank you to my good friend, Dr. Jeff Blodgett, Dr. Farhang, and the business school, my school within the school system. Thank you to Dr. Summers, who's not here, I understand, but is the leader of the degree that I received from the University of Houston, Victoria, which is a Master's in Science and Economic Development and Entrepreneurship. That's an amazing program. The distinctions on wealth creation, job creation, entrepreneurial distinctions I use in my organization on a weekly or monthly basis, and I share that to other organizations whenever I have an opportunity. The education in that program is amazing. And now that I've graduated, I think it's worth 4 times what I paid. So I promised the rest of my comments to be fast and good. Fast and good. And my wife Monique is here, and she can attest that I can be both, fast and good. Yes. And if you think I'm not nervous, I wrote the word breathe on my second page just so I can remember. Recently, a University of Houston Victoria, a University of Houston downtown, and a University of Houston Central student were raising money for their favorite charity. And it was a religious charity, and they raised more money than they expected to raise. And they weren't sure what to do with the excess money. How much of that should they give to God, and how much they should keep for themselves, after all, they're students. So the University of Houston Central students said, I have an idea. Let's draw a circle on the ground, throw the money in the air. Whatever lands in the circle, we will keep, and whatever lands outside the circle, we will give to God. The University of Houston downtown students said, wait, I have a better idea. Let's draw a circle on the ground, throw the money in the air. Whatever lands outside the circle, we will keep, and whatever lands inside the circle, we will give to God. That's when the University of Houston Victoria students said, wait, I have an even better idea. Let's throw the money in the air. Whatever God wants, He'll keep, and whatever falls to the ground is ours. It's a good thing that you laughed at that, because they only get worse from that point forward. And speaking of the ground, I can remember sleeping on the ground in my parents' room of our trailer when I was a child, because it was the only room in our house that had a battery-powered fan. And I thought success in life was going to be having running water, having electricity, and eventually, if you were lucky, get a double-wide trailer. Well, we never got the double-wide. We failed at that. We failed most of my life at getting electricity, but we managed to get running water. When I was a teenager, I thought success in life was going to be graduating high school. But then I watched all 4 of my older siblings drop out, one by one. And I thought at that point, that's what success would look like, but I failed at that as well, because I dropped out of high school in the 9th grade. In my early 20s, I thought success in life was going to be running my own business during the day and pursuing my degree at night. Well, I withdrew from a lot of classes, I failed a lot of classes, and I failed myself straight into bankruptcy by the time I was 23 years old. And my stories and my stories are extraordinary. I'm sure your stories are just or more extraordinary than mine. Failure after failure, we've continued to both learn life lessons. But at some point on my journey, I learned life's most important success lesson. That's right. Today, at your commencement, your graduation, I'm speaking about life's most important success lesson. And I'm going to share that with you today. I heard the difference between school and life is that in school you learn lessons and eventually you're given a test. But in life you're given tests and hopefully you learn the lesson. And so today, I'm afraid for you. I'm afraid for you because I'm not sure you learned the lesson. That wasn't supposed to be a joke. I'm afraid for you because I'm not sure you learned the lesson that life was supposed to teach you about today, and about this accomplishment, and about success, and about yourself. Our lessons in life are often only seen in hindsight. I think some of the biology majors could confirm this. If you take a pot of boiling water and take a live frog and put it in the boiling water, the frog will jump out immediately. But if you take the same frog and put him in a pot of cool water and turn up the heat gradually to a boil, he'll stay there until his demise, never getting a chance for hindsight. That's why I'm afraid. Conventional wisdom only gives you conventional results. University of Victoria is not a conventional school. You are not conventional students. I am not a conventional speaker, and this is not a conventional accomplishment. The lesson that today was meant to teach you has nothing to do with following your passion. It has nothing to do with finding something that you love, or any other conventional fortune cookie success wisdom, because we all know people who succeed in spite of these. My grandfather, Charlie Kaufman, was no stranger to adversity. In fact, he was born with a bad arm and a bad leg. But his life changed dramatically when at 59 years old, he was driving home in New York City in a parking garage and had a stroke and crashed his car in the garage, the parking garage of the building. When they took him to the hospital, they treated him for the stroke, and he went to see his longtime doctor, who was the doctor who treated him for the stroke, to find out that he was diagnosed with stomach cancer at that time. Luckily, the stroke revealed that, and he received 9 to 12 months to live at that time. Even though he knew the doctor who diagnosed him, he got a blessing from that doctor to go see another doctor who he also knew. That doctor confirmed that the first doctor did misdiagnose Grandpa Charlie. He didn't have 9 to 12 months to live. The new doctor said he had 3 to 6 months to live. But being an unconventional man and looking for unconventional results, he didn't stop working and he didn't take conventional treatment. He stopped to smell the roses like you should be doing today. But he knew it only had to be a pit stop to reflect back and then move forward. Grandpa Charlie lived to be nearly 89 years old, or 30 years past that time when he was diagnosed. And as the story goes, he went to the funeral of both doctors who diagnosed him with only 6 and 9 months to live. Conventional wisdom says that now that you have your skill set, your degree, that success will be by default. The famous U.S. military commander Jeff Cooper said that owning a gun doesn't make you any more safe than owning a guitar makes you a musician. Success is more than a diploma in your hand. It's more than a diploma on your wall. I think success is the perfect marriage between the right skill set and the right mindset. So let me demonstrate that. Now let me talk to just the male graduates. Now women, don't get upset. You're going to be glad you missed this. Socks or slacks, men? Raise your hand, men, if you put your slacks on before you put your socks on. You can raise your hand down. How many of you men put your socks on before you put your slacks on? How many of you are not going to raise your hand no matter what I ask you? Now for the real question, men. How many of you put your socks on before you put your shoes on? I don't need to ask that question. Some of you raised your hand, which scared me. I didn't think I needed to wait for a response to that question, because we all know that knowing what to do is different than why you do it. In the same vein, this is the best distinction I can provide for you between the difference between and distinction between the right mindset and the right skill set. You get a success mindset in part by learning the lessons life is teaching you, like the lesson this moment is teaching you. R.U. Harvey and his uncle couldn't resist the glamour and the stories they kept hearing about the California gold rush. So they sold all their belongings in New York City and moved to California, bought land and bought machinery and started digging. They found a little gold here or there, but eventually the gold vein ran dry. Out of frustration, R.U. Harvey and his uncle sold their machinery to the local mechanic who had been working on their parts, and took everything they had left and went back to New York to start their life over again. Being an optimist, the mechanic took R.U. Harvey's machinery and started digging where they left off. And again, as the story goes, he only had to dig 3 more feet to find one of the largest gold veins in California history. R.U. Harvey and his uncle were 3 feet from gold. R.U. Harvey? You are not Harvey, and today you get your gold. There is brilliance in the basics. A U of H Central student went to Home Depot asking the clerk if he could buy some 4x2s. The clerk said, I think you need 2x4s. And the U of H Central student said, I'm not sure, let me go check with my boss. And he went out and came back inside and said, yeah, 2x4s. That's when the clerk said, well, how many do you need? And the U of H Central student said, I don't know, let me go check. And he went back outside and came back in from his boss and said, this is how many we're going to need. That's when the clerk said, well, how long do you need them? The U of H Central student said, I don't know how long we need them. Let me go check with my boss. He went outside and came back in and said, well, we're building a house, so we're going to need them for a very long time. There's brilliance in the basics, as I said. Life's most important success lesson. Life's most important success lesson is that you can never fail if you never quit. In fact, my discussion to you is more about failure than it is about success, because I don't have the key to success other than what I've already shared with you. But I know for sure the key to failure is quitting. You never quit, and that's why we're here today. The famous author Eckhart Tolle said that what you will be at the end of your life can be traced back to this very moment. What Eckhart Tolle said is what you will be at the end of your life can be traced back to this very moment. This moment is about the lessons of success and your success. This moment is about going from welfare to wealthy. This moment is about going from subsistence to successful. This moment is about the single moms and single dads who are here today. This moment is about many of you from all over the world to be the first in your family at a graduation. This moment is about those of you who have tried and failed to graduate. This moment is your triumph. This moment is about your extraordinary accomplishment. This moment is your moment. Mazel tov, congratulations, and thank you.